Imagine you're on call. It's late. A flaky test is blocking your release. You open the terminal, ask your AI to propose a fix, and it drafts the pull request with a clean summary for your team to review. No tabs, no hunting through docs, just done. That's not a sci-fi demo anymore. GitHub's Copilot Enterprise puts AI across your entire workflow: your editor, the website, your phone, and yes, the command line. GitLab's taking a different route, the same AI-powered DevSecOps, but self-managed on your own infrastructure for tighter control. And in the background, US guidance like NIST's AI Risk Management Framework is quietly shaping how teams wire AI into production pipelines. So the question isn't, should we use AI in DevOps? It's, how do we use it safely with real guardrails and still move fast? Here's what changed, why it matters, and how to think about it. First, quick orientation, nothing heavy. GitHub Copilot Enterprise is the top-tier plan that brings AI into the places developers already work. You can chat on github.com about your own code. It can summarize pull requests. It can draft fixes. And in the GitHub CLI, the command line tool, it answers right in your terminal. Think of it like bringing a teammate into every screen you use. GitLab's emphasis is different. A lot of its customers care about data residency and compliance. So GitLab leans into a self-managed deployment. Run the whole DevSecOps platform, including AI features, on-premises, or in your private cloud. Same workflow power, more control over where data lives, and governance is not a footnote anymore. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework, think of it as a blueprint for responsible AI, pushes teams to make AI actions observable, auditable, and reversible. Not glamorous, but essential if AI is going to touch anything near production. So let's slow that down for a second. The key thing here is convergence, platform-native AI, options for where it runs, and clear expectations for how it's governed. That's the new baseline. Now, how does this actually work? Copilot Enterprise can index your codebases and internal docs, what GitHub calls knowledge bases, so the AI isn't guessing in the dark. It has context about your services, your naming, your quirks. It's like giving the AI a library card to your internal stack. And yes, you can exclude sensitive folders and set policies. In other words, the answers you get are less generic internet and more our code, our conventions. On github.com, Copilot Chat can explain a test failure or summarize a messy pull request using what it knows about your repo. In your IDE, it's the familiar code suggestions, and in the CLI, you can ask for explanations, commands, or even draft changes. You stay in flow in the terminal, where a lot of DevOps work already happens. There's also a coding agent concept. That's an AI that takes on a small task end-to-end, open an issue, propose code, create a pull request, still subject to your review. Think of it as a very fast junior teammate who writes drafts, not final decisions. Now, GitLab's approach. Self-managed means you deploy the platform on your own infrastructure. Your code, AI-assisted features, CI/CD, and security checks all run where your compliance folks are most comfortable. If you work in finance or healthcare, that can be the difference between no and we can pilot this. Here's what actually matters here: location and control. Where does the AI run? What data trains or tunes it? Who can see logs? GitLab's self-managed option is about answering those questions with more certainty. Then governance. The NIST framework encourages teams to map risks, measure them, and manage them with controls. In practice, for DevOps, that translates to 3 habits. Log what the AI touched, prompts, outputs, and who approved the change. Make changes reversible, so you can roll back if an AI-assisted config misfires. Keep a human in the loop for high-impact decisions. Let that sink in. It's not about stopping AI. It's about making AI traceable and contained when something goes sideways. So what does this change day to day? Onboarding gets faster. New hires can ask Copilot questions about your repos. How does payments retry? Where's the feature flag for search? Because it's indexed, the answers point to your code and docs, not random blog posts. That's a big deal. Reviews speed up. Pull requests come with summaries. The AI can flag inconsistencies with your past patterns. It won't replace a thoughtful review, but it reduces the time spent getting oriented. Incidents get calmer. In an outage, Copilot can summarize related issues, tests, and recent changes touching the failing path. It's like a rapid briefing before you dive in. The fix still needs judgment, but the where do I even look part shrinks. And for platform teams, this becomes a product problem. You'll set policies, decide which repos are indexed, define who can use which features, and measure outcomes. Not just uptake, but lead time, defect rates, and rollback frequency. Because usefulness without reliability is just noise. Here's the thing people often miss. The quality of these AI outcomes depends on the quality of your repos. If ownership is unclear, docs are stale, and tests are weak, the AI will reflect that. Context is the multiplier. Now, some risks and trade-offs. AI can hallucinate. It can propose a clever-looking fix that subtly breaks a rarely used path. The blast radius is bigger when AI is fast and confident. That's why reversible and observable matter, so experiments don't turn into incidents. Governance adds work. You'll log prompts, build approval gates, and write clear policies. There's overhead. But consider the alternative, trying to reconstruct what an AI did during a postmortem with no breadcrumbs. Self-managed platforms increase operational load. You gain control, but you also own uptime, upgrades, and integration. For some organizations, that's fine. For others, a managed service with strong contract terms is a better trade. Data privacy isn't one size fits all. Some teams are comfortable with SaaS, especially with enterprise assurances. Others need strict residency and tighter access. Hybrid patterns are appearing. Sensitive analysis on-prem, everyday assistance in the cloud. So let's pause. In other words, the future looks less like all in on one vendor and more like pick the right control plane for each risk profile. Where is this heading? We're inching toward intent-driven delivery. You'll describe what you want. Add a canary step. Increase log retention on this service. Fix the flaky test in checkout. And the system proposes a plan, drafts changes, and asks for approval. You move up a level, from edits to supervision. Expect more AI in the terminal. That's where many engineers already live. Expect richer observability that tags changes as human-initiated, script-initiated, or AI-assisted. And watch for governance moving from policy documents into the tools themselves, built-in logs, built-in approvals, built-in safety rails. If you're exploring this space, here are a few practical takeaways. Treat AI like a Tier 1 dependency. If Copilot or your platform AI goes down, what's Plan B for reviews and releases? Light chaos testing here, safe and controlled, builds confidence. Clean up your repos, clear ownership files, accurate readmes, good test coverage. It's not glamorous, but it makes the AI smarter about your world. Decide where AI runs. For regulated services, self-managed or private options might be the right lane. For internal tools and prototypes, SaaS speed can be worth it. Make actions traceable. Log AI prompts and outputs tied to commits and pipeline runs. You'll thank yourself in the next post-incident review. Keep a human in the loop for high-impact changes. Security configs, money flows, safety-critical paths. AI can draft, humans should approve. Start with low-risk wins. Documentation, test generation, PR summaries, internal tooling. Build trust before you expand to core systems. A quick note on cost, because it always comes up. Copilot Enterprise is priced per user, and the value comes from the platform context it unlocks. Organization-wide indexing, policy controls, and AI that meets you in the CLI and on the web. Cheaper tools exist, but they may not have the same governance and integration story. That platform coherence is part of the calculation. So, how should you think about the big picture? Platform-native AI is becoming the default. If your tools live in GitHub or GitLab, AI will meet you there. Data control is a strategic choice, not a checkbox. GitLab's self-managed path speaks to teams with strict requirements. Others will prefer managed speed. Governance isn't overhead. It's what keeps velocity safe. The NIST framework is a helpful lens. Map risks, measure them, manage with controls. Simple, durable. And this is where people get surprised. The teams that benefit most aren't the ones with the fanciest models. They're the ones with clean pipelines, solid documentation, and clear review habits. AI amplifies what's already there, for better or worse. One last grounding example. Picture a healthcare org. They deploy GitLab self-managed to keep data on-prem. AI helps prioritize security findings in CI, but anything touching patient data gets an automatic human review step. Meanwhile, a product team on GitHub uses Copilot Enterprise to speed up PRs and onboarding for internal tools. Same company, two lanes, each with the right guardrails. So let's land this. AI is moving from nice add-on to part of the DevOps fabric. GitHub is weaving it through IDE, web, mobile, and the CLI. GitLab is making sure you can run the whole thing under your roof when control is non-negotiable. And governance is quietly setting the rules of the road so you can go faster without flying blind. If this applies to your work, a few next steps to consider. Not prescriptions, just helpful moves. Pick 1 or 2 workflows to pilot. Write a short AI usage policy. Add prompt logging to your pipeline. And invest an afternoon in repo hygiene. Small changes, compounding benefits. That's the story for now. If you found this useful, a like and subscribe helps us keep making these videos.